folks. It's live improv from New York City. And thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing it. And I especially want to thank the cast because they're amazing. Thank you and welcome JodyLee and Steve. Over there we got Carrie. Hello, Carrie. We got Brian and we got EJ. And I'm your host, Scotty Watson. And I think you might find this next bit interesting. You're going to meet the inhabitants of a very small town. I think it's out in Long Island somewhere, called Goon River. Goon River had to make a big decision for a small town. What is a big event in the life of a small town? Somebody shout that out.
Opening of a McDonald's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So they had to make a decision on whether or not they would allow a McDonald's to open. So now is the time when I'm going to ask you wonderful actors to please start to turn yourself into the inhabitants of Goon River. Let their spirit into your spirit. I'll tell you something about the people of Goon River. Good people, salt of the earth. But they were opinionated. Whether they were for it or against it, I'll tell you, everybody in town had an opinion on that McDonald's. So let's find out some of those opinions right now. First, I would like to chat with, I'm going to say it's Mignonette Le Fleur. Ça c'est vrai? What? I'm sorry, my Quebecois just came out. What? Nice to meet you, Mignonette. What did you do in Goon River?
Oh, I am the music teacher.
Very nice. Any particular kind of music that I'm going to expect the minuet, but any particular type of music that you prefer teaching?
You are so funny, Scotty. Well, my heart's passion, of course, is the music of people like Edith Piaf.
Oh, yes, of course.
Any sort of music, it is for the children of Goon River is very important to raise their awareness of the beauty of the world.
The children of Goon River are very lucky. Speaking of those fat little bastards, were you for or against having the McDonald's built in town?
Oh, well, Scotty, it is difficult to say because I am, of course, French, and so I pay great attention to food in general. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so if I could convince them to include a number of traditional French foods, and I do not mean French fries, I mean things like escargot, then mayhap, but otherwise.
So this puts you for or against. I'm going to make you take a position here because I'm taking a poll, for or against.
Oh, I hate to be against things, Scotty. That does not go well with my. But in this case, I think yes that I will be against.
I'm going to put you down as reluctantly against. How's that sound, Mignonette?
Thank you, Scotty. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we note your reticence.
Thank you.
Next, I'm going to talk to Marcus Marcus,
you had it the first time.
Schmear. Wow, that's an unusual name.
There you go.
Marcus, tell me what you did in Goon River.
I'm a farmer around here.
Uh-huh. What did you farm?
I grow popcorn, but not just any popcorn now. This is the popcorn that it pops before I take it to market. See?
Oh,
so it pops out in the field, and you catch the popcorn out there and put it in bags and take it into the movie theater, town on over, and just into the store to sell right there.
Well, I did not know that that's where popcorn came from.
Yeah, pops right out in the field.
Wow, that is unique. So I'm assuming if you were selling popcorn to the movie theater, McDonald's wouldn't be too far a stretch. How'd you feel about the McDonald's being built?
Nah, it's taken. I will have a definite decrease in sales if that McDonald's goes in.
Oh,
Yeah. Yep.
I would think. Oh, so you're against having the McDonald's?
I'm against having McDonald's in there.
I'm
Big city popcorn, and I can't compete with that.
Big city popcorn. I don't think they sell popcorn.
They sell popcorn.
Okay. I'm not going to argue. I certainly won't. We'll see the menu when they get opened, I guess. Mary Beth. Now, is that a first name, Mary Beth, or is it your full name, Mary Beth?
It's my first and middle name, but I go by Mary Beth.
Oh, how nice. Can you tell me what you did in the town of Goon River?
Well, I was a housewife.
Lovely.
I've got 6 kids. Jimmy, Johnny, Judy, Jackie, Joey, and Jesse. I always forget their names, but they're all J's.
Okay.
And I also sell the Mary Kay cosmetics on the side.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm wearing pink, and I'm on my way to a pink Cadillac.
Sure. We hear you. I'm going to ask you not to solicit anybody into Mary Kay in this august forum, please. We have. I know you're always on the make for new members.
Noted.
Why J? All your children are start with J. Why is that?
I don't know. I just have a particular affinity for the letter J. I was born in January. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Maybe or June.
My husband's name is Ronald, so it has nothing to do with our names.
Well, interestingly enough, speaking of Ronald, that brings me to the task at hand. Were you for or against the big McDonald's being opened?
Oh, baby, bring it on. I've got 6 kids and I don't have time to cook. Boy, I'm waiting for those Happy Meals to hit the shelves.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Happy Meals.
Happy Meals makes happy children, let me tell you.
You know,
They are running me ragged.
Oh,
ragged.
I bet. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's a choice. 6 kids. Bo, is that like a single name like Cher?
It is. It's a name that we give for, as a truck driver, I like to call my name, and the way I like to pronounce it is Bo.
Oh.
Right now, I'm driving a 16-wheeler as a driver, but I'm taking a test next week, and that could be updated if I pass this test to 18-wheeler. And I'm going to be the big man on campus when I'm driving down these roads, and I'm going to have to take some breaks and have some good burgers.
Sure. Oh, so it sounds to me like you're in favor of the McDonald's.
I'm in favor of a McDonald's, but it better not have a lot of kids in it.
Oh, dear. You know what McDonald's is, right?
I do, but the more food that I have, the better, and the less toys, the better.
Okay. Also, I did not know that there was a test between the 16-wheeler and the 18-wheeler. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a new thing that's coming out, and I'll be one of the first ones to have this license. I'm going to show it off.
Excellent. Sounds good to me. All right. Miss Amright.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. What did you do in the town of Goon River?
Well, I was the town matchmaker.
That's interesting. How'd you get into that?
Well, it's a family thing, been passed down forever. Miss Amright will find Mr. Right. That's what my shingle says.
You remember in Fiddler on the Roof? Matchmaker. Do you remember that song?
My doorbell plays that tune.
Beautiful. Now, do tell. I couldn't guess, considering you're a matchmaker. Were you for or against the big McDonald's?
First, I was a little intrigued. I mean, after all, I thought lots of young blood behind the counter working could be more work for me. But the truth is, there'll be extra rubbish, youngsters having cigarette breaks in the alley out back, and I'm next door, where they're proposing to put it as my office. Not happy. It's going to smell of those buns.
The bums or buns?
Buns. When they heat up their buns, it smells. The whole neighborhood smells of heated buns.
Wow, there's nothing worse than the smell of heated buns.
Bad for business.
especially in August. So I'm going to put you down as against the big McDonald's.
I'm an against. I
Oh, well,
am.
certainly are, and an adamantly against.
Mm.
All right, I'm going to take you forward into the future a little bit. I think you all remember that even though the vote, the popular vote was 3-2 against, the town council decided to build the big McDonald's, and they had set tomorrow as the day that they were going to break ground on the new McDonald's. And well, I wanted to find out what you did the day before they broke ground on the McDonald's. So the majority of you, three of you, Mignonette and Marcus and Ms. Amright, you were against that, and Mary. So I want to know what you were doing the day before to maybe protest it or things like that. And Mary Beth and Bo, you were both for it. I want to see how you were trying to celebrate that day before, and maybe a little bit about who you saw. Let's start with you, Bo. Bo, do tell, what were you doing the day before they broke ground? Maybe, I guess, to celebrate.
Before they broke down to celebrate, all I was thinking about is a hamburger as I'm driving down and I see them breaking the sign and it's all ready to light up. Yep. And I'm just thinking about that beautiful hamburger, nice, quiet area when I'm 2:00 in the morning, when I'm starving and my mouth is drooling.
Sure.
So I'm just driving and being careful, and I'm keeping my eye out, making sure that those protesters don't mess around with this.
Oh, there were protesters. Interesting. Did you happen to see anybody while you were out there?
You know, I happened to see Miss Amright. It's caught my eye. I don't know what it is, but every time she's got a house right next door, and I believe her name is Amright. It says
it is.
When I first saw her, my eye just keeps on catching her house more than it does McDonald's, and that's why I think I go that way.
You naughty boy. I'm going to check in with Ms. Amright right now. Ms. Amright, I understand you were against the McDonald's. The vote went against you. What were you doing the day before they broke ground?
Well, the day before, I'd had a full booked day of clients. Poor Marcus Schmier is still without a wife, and it's my mission to find him someone. I had to cancel the poor man's appointment, and God knows he needs help. I got a picket sign, and I wrote clearly, "I don't want your meat." And I stood outside my town with my pickets, outside my office with my picket. I don't want your meat.
Wow. It could be clarified a little bit more. Maybe if you stood in front of a McDonald's.
Yes, well, I'm next door. I don't want to get in front of their window and smell the buns.
I understand. Well, but you had to cancel. I understand you had to cancel Marcus Schmier's appointment. So I'm going to talk to Marcus. Marcus, what were you doing the day before? You were also against this thing being built.
Yeah, well, I drove into town on the tractor for the appointment and saw Ms. Amright out in front. And I thought, well, that ain't happening today. So that's all right. Been alone for a long time. Don't need to see anyone. And that Ms. LaFleur is sure pretty.
Oh, now let me ask you a question. So you drove the tractor into town, and you just suddenly dropped in that Ms. LaFleur is very pretty. Did you see her? Did you call on her? Did you knock on her door or something?
Yeah, she was in her window. She was giving a lesson, and she got this big picture window. It's kind of hard not to notice, you know.
Wow, Marcus, that's either romantic or super creepy. It's one of those two.
It's a little bit of both, I think.
That's romance right there. A little bit of this, and a little bit of that. Mignonette, are you aware that Marcus Schmier smears your window with his greasy nose and stares at you while you teach?
Scotty, I have seen him on occasion as he would come into town. He would go very slowly by my window, and I would look. But I have to say, I am just, why is that funny? Are you laughing at me?
No, I was, no, not at all. I was,
Yeah, better not, boy.
I understand that Marcus sometimes weighs his wascally wabbits as well, but go on. I'm very interested.
I personally, I must say that the muscles on Bo, that big,
Love
truck
trying.
driver, I have always had just a little bit of
All right, settle down there, Bo. Settle down. What did you do the day before? Because you were moderately against the McDonald's being.
So I was giving a lesson to the children, and we were practicing a song of protest. And we were singing, "This land is your land. We want no burgers. This land is our land. Keep McDonald's away."
You should get that as a, not patent. What do you call it? Published. You should publish.
Copyright.
Yeah, copyright. That's now this. Okay, I think I see a bone of contention here because you were moderately against the restaurant, and now I also understand that the only children in town belong to Mary Beth. Mm-hmm. So were you teaching Mary Beth's children?
I am trying to teach the children to have more awareness of what they put in their mouths, to be healthy young people, to grow up with an appreciation for the finer things of life, particularly what you put in your mouth, the food.
We don't want your meat in our mouth. I get it. And Mary Beth, I understand that the music teacher that was teaching your children was undermining the fact that they were going to get Happy Meals. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I was fuming. I went to pick them up and I could hear them singing that song in my car. This land is your land. This land is my land. We want no burgers. La, 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 la. Oh my God. She has such airs about her anyway. Wow. I went in and I pulled Jimmy, Johnny, and Judy right out of there. And guess what I saw?
What?
She had Taco Bell wrappers in there.
Unbelievable.
So, Miss High and Mighty Snooty, she was eating fast food. She went over to Richardson's, 20 miles away. That's the only one Taco Bell there is in the area.
It was ethnic food. It was ethnic food.
Oh, is it? Right.
Is it really?
Exactly.
I hate to bring up an unfortunate incident, but I'm going to fast forward to the day of. It was the day of the groundbreaking, and it was a very unfortunate day for all of you. I understand. Now, the first person in the scene, first thing in the morning, was Ms. Amright, because you lived right next door. Can you tell me what happened to you?
I came downstairs to find those dreadful children had graffitied, vandalized my sign and erased the W and the M, so my sign said, "We don't ant your eat." Total rubbish. And then I saw Mignonette, Burger Queen. Mignonette. I should never have trusted a woman. First half of her name sounds like a steak anyway. I should have known. I was so upset. I didn't notice this curb. I've been asking the city to fix that for a long time, and I stumbled awkwardly. And Mignonette did nothing to help, and I cracked my knee and died from it.
From a cracked knee, you died?
It runs in the family.
Wow, that is worse than an Achilles ankle, I'll tell you.
Absolutely. Cracked knee.
That is awful. I understand, Mignonette, you were there and you didn't help Ms. Amright. What happened to you?
Well, I saw her. I have a soul of caring.
Sure.
And I saw her, and I thought, this is terrible. I must go and help. And I started out of my house and was going across the street to get to where she was. And Scotty, they were bringing in all of the equipment for the new McDonald's. And they had the fryers and the giant, all of the giant things. Mm-hmm. And as I was crossing the street, here came this truck, and it was
no.
not Bo's truck. Bo would have paid attention. It was some other horrible person, and he just ran right over me. Smashed me flat right there in the street. It was flat like a floor.
Like a floor, c'est dommage. That's terrible. Well, but I do understand, even though it wasn't Bo's truck, Bo was the very next truck. So you were the next person on the scene. Bo, what happened to you?
Sure. I just came out of McDonald's and I smelt a nice hamburger. I could just smell it going through my nose. So I bring it out.
You dealt
I'm
it.
walking out. I'm eating it and I start to choke.
Oh, no.
But that's not how I died, because Mary Beth came and she gave me the Heimlich and it came right out. So I get in my truck, and I'm just driving. And as I'm driving, there's a pothole. I go in a pothole, and a 18-wheeler, because I just graduated. So I'm driving an 18-wheeler now, and I feel like I'm top of the world. And the 18-wheeler goes sideways, and it tumbles over 3-4 times. My head's hanging out. But that's not how I died.
Oh, dear.
I get up, and I start walking, and I see Miss Albright and Maganette, and I'm like, holy cow, what the heck just happened? Out of nowhere, a branch falls out of the tree and hits me in the head, and I'm dead.
What hit you in the head?
A branch from a tree.
All that, and you just got killed by a tree?
Sid. And
Oh, that's really awful. Now, I understand that the next person on the scene on his tractor was Marcus Schmear. Marcus,
Yeah.
what happened to you?
Well, my son Jimmy, he not related to Mary Beth's Jimmy,
Oh, another Jimmy.
another Jimmy. Yeah, he fixed my tractor and he said I need to take it into town. I don't know why, so I did. And oh my good God, there's a truck laying on his side.
Sure, mess.
There were bodies in the street, one of them being flat. That Miss Mignonette was flat, I tell you that. And then she's like me anyway, so there's no skin off my nose. But I hit a new button that my boy Jimmy put in the dash of the tractor. And it must have been a turbo, and you have never seen a turbo tractor. It was quite amazing. But I was trying to avoid bodies and I hit the curb where Miss Amright hit.
That curb.
Into the McDonald's.
Oh, dear.
Into the McDonald's. And they were using gas, not electricity.
Oh, dear.
Gas.
Oh, dear.
So, boom.
Wow. And you survived and you were killed by a tree branch. That's awful.
No,
That's
that was
really
this Jimmy.
awful. No, I was being a dick. Mary Beth, you were the last person on the scene. I really had hopes that you would somehow make it through. What happened?
Well, I arrived there. I was in charge of putting out the statue of Ronald McDonald. I mean, that was huge. There was going to be press there and everything. And I had all my kids gathered around, and they were grabbing me and like, "Oh my God, Mom, there's dead bodies in the street." And I was like freaking out. So I had Ronald McDonald with me. I ran out there and I saw the dead bodies. And so then I thought, well, it's not time to do this yet. I ran back inside and put Ronald McDonald safe in the McDonald's, when all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. Something hit it and the place just exploded. And I was killed in the blast.
Oh, that was Marcus.
I don't know what happened to my kids. I mean,
they made it. They made it. I
Thank
mean,
God.
we can do a thing about everybody in the town dying, but we're not
Thank
going to get
God.
that dark. All the kids made it. All the kids lived. All the
Good.
kids lived. No puppies were killed. Oh, as sad as this is, I'm glad that you could. I'm just glad that you could share your story with
motherless.
us.
The kids are motherless. They've
Yeah.
got Ronald, but he's whatever.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for telling me your story. And thank you for watching Improv on a Friday night. Hey, stick around. There's going to be more. So don't go away. Bye.